Hey guys, how you doing? Check this out. So let's go to the past on our time machine and see how I did this. Hey, how you guys doing? And welcome from the future. And this is our subject for today. And this C10 truck, I cracked it open underwater, so I'm gonna put a link to that video somewhere around here on the screen or here, so you can see it. I did it on a trip I took to the beach, and you can see it's all rusted. That's what happens when you get your Hot Wheels wet. So let's start on working on this chassis to get our off-road suspension lift. And of course you have to remove these axle, and since they're no good anymore, might as well pull them out like this. There you go. And if you have something, and clean them a little. And where is it? Get that flat tip screwdriver in there and open this up a little. There you go. So in order for you to understand this video, you're gonna have to watch one of my previous video on how to create axles. So I'm gonna put a link here on the screen, and I'll put a link on the video description also, so you can understand the parts you're gonna need and the terminology, I guess. So I have everything that I'm pretty much gonna use inside this here. So if you're coming back from that other video now, you know you're gonna need the brass tubing, right? Already pre-cut the ones that I'm gonna use for the axle, and the ones I'm gonna use for some other parts. So I'm just gonna lay them down here, I guess, explain. All right, so while the wheels were on the chassis, or the base plate, base, whatever you want to call it, I pretty much measured, eyeballing it from center of the wheel to center of the wheel, and I came up with this measurement, which is pretty much safe where the axle is gonna sit down here, because I want the wheels to stick out of the truck. I don't want them to be perfectly in place, because that's not how it goes in real life. So I've also pre-cut this smaller piece, which is the one I'm gonna put in here. This is optional, but makes it a little simpler. You're gonna see why. And I've also cut these two little pieces that you'll see why I did that pretty soon. So I have everything here right now. So I take the ones that I'm gonna put here, and you basically know that this would not fit in here because this is a little thicker than the original axle, right? So you could either use your Dremel tool to cut in here, and like you've seen on my previous video, and you could also use your soldering iron, and basically just use the heat to drive it in. The best part about this is most of the time you're not gonna need glue, since it goes in there pretty strong. And you have to make sure it's leveled. There you go. See? So let's do the back part. They're both the same size, but you can see the back part of this base. It's a little thinner, but doesn't matter. It's not centered perfectly, but it'll be okay. Remember the 500 stock music wire? This is the new tool I've been talking about that I got brand new. These are round nose pliers, and they're used for jewelry making. So what we're gonna do here is just pinch the top here like this. Let's see if I can get that in the camera. And basically just try to go and make a loop. Okay. And the reason I'm using the 500 stock is because like I mentioned on my previous video, this one is a lot easier to bend. Let's see. There you go. So you got a loop. There you go. So this loop, you're gonna put this here, right? And since you go over your axle line, this loop is gonna bring it back to your axle line. And now you have to kind of figure out the height that you want. And I basically settle. This is why I have these smaller pieces here. I think this is a safe distance. We go put that in there. All right. And so this is the back part, and we're gonna bend towards the inside of the truck. So this gives me an idea where I have to bend. See, right now, this one went a little bit deep. This is where I have to make my decision if I want to go this high. and I think that's pretty safe. So get yourself some plier, and remember, we're gonna bend towards it. Let me try to close this a little bit so it doesn't go in there. Okay, so we're bending towards the inside of the truck. So so put this here. All right. There you go. So if you need to make any adjustment, you can do it right now. All right. So this is the back part, and this is basically what we're doing here. See? Okay, now you see it's not perfectly aligned. You just keep on bending it until you have a till you're happy with your alignment. So now basically every base has this little step here, and you want to cut that because you want that wire to go in flush with the base. I'm gonna do that with my Dremel because I find it to be a lot easier. So I'll be back once I do that. Alright, so I'm back. As you can see, I made a notch at every corner, and remember, your loop goes towards the inside of the base. So let's say we want to put this one here, right? This is, now you have to check and double check the height, and that's pretty much the amount of trouble that you're gonna get. Now you see how it fell off that center brass tube. Okay, so I have a fix for that. Remember that those pins, sewing pin I showed you on that previous video. Let's see. These have a pretty big round head, right? So what you need to do is cut them to length, and this will give you an area. As you can see, it's not big enough, but once this is glued down, it's not gonna move that much. You gotta make sure it's not rubbing too much on it. So you can do that, or use an axle that you're not gonna use. This one here, you still have to cut it. And all right, I'm back. So to create an area where the wire is gonna move up and down, from that previous video, you see I using some black glass beads, and just cut some spare axles that you have laying around, or you can also use the sewing pin I show on that other video. And since I have a lot of few axles laying around, so I'm gonna use a little dab of glue, right? So I come over here, See how the breast tube moves? That means I'm gonna have to use some glue on it. And once you put it in, go back a little. There you go. It's on there. And some people use glue here. Not a big fan of this glue for that purpose. It'll work perfect for the axle thing, but in here I prefer to use 2-part epoxy, and that usually sticks on there pretty good. So next step is once you get everything in here like this, let's see, this is the front, so I'm gonna come in here, right, and I have to decide that I'm probably gonna run 2-part epoxy all the way to the front here. Let's see, that's not too soft, but it should be perfect. So what I need to do now is, since I see that this base has it's a little tab here, and I don't want to remove it since it's not necessary, just basically mark somewhere here, around here should be good. And since it's sitting like this, right, I want to bend the other way. There you go, like this. And let's check it out now. So I have to maybe somewhere around here. I don't want to cut the wire, since the more surface, the better it will be. You see why. So it came back around. Pick it up. All right, once you have all 4 sides done, then you can do them one by one. See, this one also works on this side. You can do them one by one, and just to make sure that you're perfectly in line, just use small amount of 2-part epoxy to hold it in. It's not going to be strong enough to work. As you can see, everything moves up. So just to hold it in, and once you have all 4 in place, just go put epoxy all over the place. And you could also use that soldering iron again. So let's say we want to put this one here. Use heat. Right. So this one, see, it's at least it's there for our next step. So you go ahead and do all 4. It's not strong enough to work the suspension, but see, kind of left it here. See, you have to check that it's not getting stuck anywhere. I'm getting a little, but that should not be a problem. I think that might work to our advantage, but we'll see. So let me do all four and I'll be back. Okay, so here are all the four pieces in place. Don't worry about for now if they're not straight or aligned. Once you use the two-part epoxy in this area and wait for it to dry, you're gonna be able to move them around and get a better alignment. So let me get the two-part epoxy and wait for it to dry, and I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Epoxy is on, and I went over with my Dremel to lower the epoxy a little bit. This is not gonna be seen, but I guess you could paint it if you want. And on the truck itself, the inner part, there were some tabs here to hold the axle in place, and in the back I cut them off. So everything will fit. Check it out. So next step is to create the axle with the wheels that I have chosen for this project. I'll be back. So once you have pretty much aligned all of these, moving them around using your hand, your pliers. See, this one in the back is not perfect, so just jiggle it till you get it there. So now we're gonna get ready to make our axle, and this is where the glass beads are very important. If you're gonna use glue, most of the time, if you don't use a glass bead, you're gonna get glue inside the rim, and it's not gonna let it roll freely. So now, once you have selected the four beads, glass beads, make sure you test them out, because not all of them are the same size, and not all of them will fit. So before you dab glue on anything, make sure you test them out. Because let me see if I can demonstrate with this one here. Yeah, this one went in, but as you can see, it's a tight fit, but it does fit. And another thing you want to do before you start with the glue, it's run a mock-up of how everything's gonna be. So let's say we have this axle here, our pre-cut brass tubing, and that's another thing you're gonna need. You're gonna make sure the axle fits in here before you do anything else. So I just dropped the glass bead. Okay, so there it's in. Okay, so it's in, right? So look at how wide it is, and pretty much you're gonna present it somewhere where it's gonna be. And to me, this is perfect, because the space here on the wheel well is not enough. So when the suspension is working, I want to have at least a little bit of room so it doesn't rub on the metal. So this right here should be perfect, and should be the same thing for the back. Okay, so remember, like earlier I said the glue holds the axle in there pretty good. Well, not really. During this process, it all depends on the type of glue, I guess, and how good the glue goes inside. But if you want to make something that in the future you could pull out and swap the rims or wheels, complete wheels, I guess the glue is the way to go, because when you jank on it, you're gonna be able to pull it out. Today, since I'm not planning on doing that in the future, so I'm gonna flush that in there. So you can see it's rolling free. I'm gonna get my wire cutters and give it a little tug here. Right there. And this thing is not coming out, and it's rolling. So only do one side. Let me get the other one. And you can only do one side because you're gonna have to slide it in on our curved wire. I should do two. It's a lot better, I think. So now you come in here, right? Slip it in. And go. Might be a little tough to get it past the where you crimped. Just use your nail, or you could go back and open that little loop a little bit. It's not that hard. Okay, there. So I did opened it a little bit too much. Remember, there's no right or wrong way to doing this. It's just, everything is just, you know, experimenting as you go by. It's still too big. Let me get okay, let me see. Yeah, still too big, but you know, you're gonna see what we're gonna do next. So get your other wheel without losing a bit. Come in here, put it in, push the axle all the way in. Right. So now you're holding the tire, this one, so it doesn't go flush, and then come in here and crimp it, and now you can go back here and check this on there tight. It is. This one needs to go in a little, so something small, come in here. There you go, push it in, and there you go. Let's do the other side, the back side. So again, put it like this. Make sure the axle is all the way in. Flat towards the wheel. It'll give you a better precision grip. You got to be careful with this, because sometimes if you use too much force, you cut the whole thing, then you got to start all over again. So there you go. And now, see how they move around? It's up to you. Like I said before, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. You could either leave it like this. Check it out. Or what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to center it out, right, as better as I can, and use a 2-part epoxy here and here. And you can use this glue, this type of glue, just to hold it in place. And once you have it where you want it, because it's gonna be easier if you mess up to move it with this one. Once you have it where you really want it, then you can use the 2-part epoxy. And before you use the epoxy, make sure that you know that everything it's leveled. And as you can see, it rolls freely. So I'm gonna go do that, and I'll be back. So I mixed some epoxy, 2-part epoxy, placed it here. Just before I dried, I came here with the X-Acto knife and try to clean it up a bit. I mean, you could spend more time in here and sand it down. And you can even use some putty or something else and create something that looks like the differential. But then I came with a Sharpie and basically paint and as you can see, I still have the glass beads on the back. I don't have them anymore in the front. Oh, here, the other side, the back, front. They broke off while I was trying to make the alignments, but that's okay, they're not needed. So here it is. Also, I had to grind down the center part and on front because of the epoxy. Had to make room for that. And here it is, guys. Like I said, you could come in here and paint this. Here you go, and check this out. Yellow. Red. And the new black version. Yellow line doesn't work very well with the black, but that can easily be fixed by just flipping the rubber. Now we got a black wall. So let me know which one you like better. And I'm low on supply, so I'm gonna sell one of these. You get to pick the color, and I'll leave my email on the video description. You get a hold of me. And this took me close to like 3 hours to make, so it's, you know, don't expect to, you know, to do this in 10 minutes. It takes a lot of work. and take in consideration that I didn't paint. So if you paint, it's gonna take a lot longer. So let me know which one you like: black, red, yellow, or silver casting, or no paint, so you can paint it yourself. Thanks for watching. Bye.